What if silver isn't rising because of hype, headlines, or random speculation? What if this move isn't emotional at all, but mechanical? Because here's something most people never realize until it's too late. Every major silver breakout in history followed the same quiet sequence. Not panic, not excitement, silence. The market goes calm. Volume dries up, headlines disappear, and then suddenly, silver explodes. Not by accident, not overnight, but because the groundwork was already laid. If you know what to look for, you can see it forming long before the crowd reacts. And right now, that familiar setup is appearing again. Welcome back to Hidden Silver Report, where we decode what's happening beneath the surface of the silver market, without hype and without shortcuts. Before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to Hidden Silver Report, like this video, and share it with anyone who follows precious metals. This market doesn't move often, but when it moves fast. Being early matters, staying informed matters, and most people only realize that after the move is already over. Now, a quick disclaimer before we begin. This video is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Markets involve risk, prices can move quickly, and you should always do your own research or consult a qualified professional before making any investment decisions. Most investors believe silver rises for obvious reasons: inflation headlines, central bank decisions, fear in the markets. And sometimes those things do act as triggers, but they are rarely the real cause. The real cause usually shows up earlier, quietly, when almost no one is paying attention. That's because silver doesn't move like tech stocks or cryptocurrencies. It doesn't respond to hype cycles. It responds to pressure building under the surface. Historically, silver spends long periods doing almost nothing. Prices drift sideways, volatility disappears, media interest fades. This is the phase where people lose patience and move on, and that boredom is not a coincidence. It's a filter. Weak hands exit. Strong hands accumulate quietly. Supply tightens while demand stays steady. That imbalance doesn't announce itself, it waits. Before every major breakout, silver enters what looks like a dead zone. Price compresses into a narrow range. Volume drops. Breakouts fail. Analysts lose interest. Retail investors stop watching. But under the surface, something important is happening. Available physical supply slowly dries up. Industrial demand doesn't disappear. Long-term holders stop selling. The pressure builds silently. Then comes the next phase. Silver starts rising slowly. Not dramatically. Not enough to make headlines. Just enough to feel suspicious. This is where many people assume the move is weak or temporary. They wait for confirmation. They want proof, but confirmation always comes late. By the time silver looks obvious, the most powerful part of the move is already underway. This pattern has repeated across decades. In the early stages, silver rises without excitement. No mania, no mainstream attention. That's because smart money doesn't chase excitement. It positions early. It understands that silver's biggest moves come when the market least expects them. Another critical signal before breakouts is divergence. Silver starts holding higher lows even when broader markets look unstable. It stops reacting negatively to bad news. It shrugs off pressure that would normally push it lower. That's not strength you can feel emotionally, it's strength you observe structurally. Then something else begins to happen. Mining stocks start behaving differently. Not explosively, just differently. Strong miners stop falling on down days. They begin outperforming silver on small up moves. Volume quietly increases on breakouts while staying low on pullbacks. That's accumulation. It's not loud, but it's intentional. This is where most investors misinterpret the market. They think silver hasn't moved enough yet. They think it's broken, or manipulated, or irrelevant. But history shows the same thing again and again. Silver never explodes from excitement. It explodes from compression. When the pressure finally releases, it doesn't ask for permission. Breakouts happen quickly. Pullbacks become shallow. Momentum builds faster than people expect. And suddenly, everyone wants exposure at the same time. That's when volatility spikes. That's when headlines return. That's when late money rushes in. And here's the most important part. By the time silver feels exciting, the low risk opportunity is gone. The calm phase is where positioning matters most. Not because it feels good, but because it feels boring. This is also why silver moves shock people. It doesn't give emotional warnings. It gives structural ones. Tight ranges, failed breakdowns, quiet accumulation, relative strength that doesn't make sense yet. The mistake most investors make is waiting for certainty, but certainty only appears after price has already moved. Silver doesn't reward comfort, it rewards patience and awareness. That doesn't mean silver rises forever. It doesn't. Breakouts eventually exhaust. Manias eventually collapse. But those phases come later. Right now, the market is still whispering, and markets whisper before they scream. If you followed silver long enough, you've seen this cycle before. Calm, compression, disbelief, acceleration, and finally, chaos. Each phase pushes a different group of investors out of the market. The calm phase pushes out the impatient. The acceleration phase pushes out the fearful. The mania phase destroys the reckless. The people who benefit most are rarely the loudest. They're the ones who recognize patterns when nothing feels urgent yet. That's why silver isn't rising by accident. It never does. It rises because the conditions are prepared long before price responds. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think silver is still in its quiet phase? Or do you believe the breakout has already started? And are you watching physical silver mining stocks, or both? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective helps others see what they might be missing. If this breakdown gave you clarity, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Hidden Silver Report, and share it with anyone trying to understand what's really happening in the silver market. This channel exists to cut through noise, not add to it. Silver never moves when people expect it to. It moves when pressure becomes impossible to ignore. And by the time everyone agrees something is happening, the most important part is already over. I'll see you in the next one.